Salute, squatters. I hope everyone is good. Let's quickly engage on this issue going forward. It's another part 2 now of this whole thing of Duduzile Zuma-Sambudla's case. Today, she appeared in court, and yeah, it went on. We all saw, and I still maintain, my view that I feel more like this whole thing is just a political witch hunt, because even if you look at how the case is presented and what exactly has she done, because I think the state attorney was emphasizing the part that she incited violence. Now, looking at this whole issue holistically, from a point where we had lockdown to a point where people got frustrated, people lost their jobs, the economy was underperforming, and now we had the angry society versus the former president being arrested. In the first place, the arrest itself was quite questionable, and I've been observing this whole issue. What I've picked up today is that the former president confessed that actually the plan was for him to be taken to jail, to be imprisoned or incarcerated, and then never return. So it gives me an impression. It gave me an impression that Duduzile Zuma was very worried that my dad might not come back. This is the impression that I got by listening to what Msholozi was saying today. And I don't want to talk about the details of this whole matter, but I could sense that there's no case here. It's a daughter who was frustrated because her dad was arrested, and she felt like her dad was being vilified for his political position and how he views the current administration and all of that. And by the way, it was bad in those times because after lockdown, the conditions were eased, yes, but the damage was done. The damage which was done, there was no way we could recover. And people used the former president's arrest as an excuse for them to loot. And I think somehow, yes, because politics is politics, this has been well orchestrated, quite frankly and honestly. It was planned, but who will account? Because the state is not actually certain who to hold accountable, that this is the person who orchestrated. You see, if you find a substantial amount of proof to say on a WhatsApp you planned this whole thing, I think that's where there's some technicalities in this whole issue, that if they found a WhatsApp, all the WhatsApp messages stating that here's the proof you planned, you were maybe in a group planning with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people that let's go and influence people to loot and all of that. The Twitter of saying we see you, Tuba, we see you, wherever we see you, I don't really think, I don't know, maybe people who are in the legal fraternity might be able to stretch this further. That how do you accuse someone and wants to prosecute them for just saying we see you? And let me tell you something in South Africa. If we allow such allegations to become substance to us, to matter to us really, for someone to be taken to court and to have to go through that whole process. Imagine if they can do that to the daughter of the former president. What about you as an average person? I feel like our government, the state is actually intending to abuse people based on the resources that they have. They have access to take you to court. That's for you to prove your innocence. And if you don't have a strong legal representation, how many people went to jail for such issues like this? Even if it's not something like this, but you can imagine if they can abuse someone who's very influential on her position like that. What about the average person? I'm very much worried about this whole issue because it involves politics. You see, if it was just a pure issue that had nothing to do with politics, maybe, just maybe, I would understand. On the first episode about this issue of Duduzile's court appearance and all that, I mentioned in the beginning that there's politics and there's law. These are two different things. And if we are going to confuse politics with our legal system, then we are inviting the judges to actually interfere in our political space. Politics must be left for politicians, and law must be left for lawyers to be able to adjudicate these whole issues and all of that. But if we take political issues into the court of law, now the whole legal system gets to be contaminated by politics. And politics, we know how horrible politics can turn out to be. Inside the courtroom, the MK was singing struggle songs and all of that. Then you can see that this is now a political environment which is highly charged inside the courtroom. That there is a problem there. We need to separate the two so we can be able to make a sound decision, not based on politics. Because look at the president, Cyril Ramaphosa himself. There's three issues that I was actually hoping that whoever is in charge of the NPA or the Hawks or what, they could have done something on. Number one is the Marikana case. The president had a case to answer to. He didn't. He chose not to. Why? Because he is above the law. Number two, CR17 bank statements. He chose to say, hey, whoever is going to release that information, I will have a problem with them. Personally so. So the CR17 bank statements are still sealed. Number three, the Pala, which was the West. Absolutely no accountability, zero. So if we say now, no, this is not a political matter, Duduzile must answer to that, why the president has not answered on these three issues? Never. These three issues, he never really bothered to answer to anything. So it shows that someone is sitting there above the law and others must just submit. And my other concern is that, like I mentioned, that Cyril Ramaphosa has got a very serious issue with the Zuma family. And it shows now that it has reached to a point where now it is getting personal. You cannot be crucified and also your kids become victims because of being your kids. I mean, it's clear. Duduzile was taken to Zondo Commission. Jacob Zuma went there also, and he also complained that, listen, I'm not comfortable with Justice Zondo and how he treats me. Can he please recuse himself? I don't have a problem to attend this commission, but let him recuse himself based on the following reason: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He stated all the reasons, including the fact that they have some sort of a personal relationship, of which Justice Zondo could use that as a weapon. He could weaponize that against the former president. Okay, fine. Duduzile also, she's being crucified also. If you look at this whole matter, it's like someone is fighting the Zuma family. I don't have any favors that I just want to look at this issue holistically, that really, is this something that we can put our focus on, or there's some sort of shenanigans in this whole thing? But I have a strong feeling that there's no case there to answer to. And if you ask me now, I can say it was a waste of time and state resources. Those judges, those prosecutors, those magistrates, they are getting paid to do this joke. It's a joke, but I think they are forced to look like they are doing something about it. And they themselves, they know that we will never find anything. Someone from somewhere behind the scenes is pushing them. So they are under pressure. And the person who's pushing them is from a political position, not a legal position. If it was from a legal position, I would understand. So now, let the state stop taking politics to court and want to use the legal system as a weapon to attack on people. I'm not a fan of the Zuma family. They've got their own flaws and all of that. I don't have it. But when it comes to issues, let's be fair. Let's look at these issues from a sober mindset, but this doesn't make sense. Why it doesn't make? Because if we let these issues to carry on like this, and now there's squabbles, now they're using our legal system to politically witch hunt people, then what about an average person? The average person will just be taken straight to jail without even a trial. What is that? Is this the democracy we fought for? When we say we don't want Dompas, when we say we don't want Bantustan education and whatsoever, is the June 1976 Soweto uprising students, did they fight for this? I mean, in this democratic dispensation, you need to have a right to express how you feel. We should not end up like other African countries where there's no freedom of speech. The next moment, before we know it, you'll say something about the president. Tomorrow the police are at your door and say, hey, we are coming to arrest you. Why did you, like other countries, those countries, miss. So we need to, I feel like the Zuma family is like the Trump family, Donald Trump. You see Donald Trump, how America treated him, especially the Democrats, how the Obama's political colleagues treated Donald Trump. Joe Biden, by the way. And they used the legal system to fight Donald Trump, but he stood firm. And he's a president by now. That's why I say there are things that I like about Donald Trump, that I think there are things that I don't really like about him. So the same thing goes to the Zuma family. It's worrisome. It is a concern, by the way, that why would we allow our states to abuse the state resources based on political agenda? This is just a political agenda. And as Justice Mogoeng mentioned before that, hey, stop taking your political issues into the court. He mentioned that stop taking the political issues there and bring them into the court. It's very irritating, because you remember that time when he was the Chief Justice, they were bringing all those political issues to the court. And he got fed up and said, hey, this is not going to happen. The buck must stop here. I stand by him even until today that, listen, why are we entertaining politics in our legal space? Why are we doing that? It is a waste of time. Today it was clear. It was just a waste of time. It was a futile exercise. They shouldn't have, even those people that they victimized there. And as a president, you need to understand that people were frustrated, and it is what it was because of people were angry, people lost their jobs and all of that. So people were frustrated by that. And everybody should equally so understand, including the president, that there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do. And it was a moment of revolution. So if they want to pin it on certain people that are affiliated with the Zuma family and Jacob Zuma's daughter, it's a, I don't support it. I don't know, squatters. Maybe you will say something. Maybe you will state your views. You're welcome to maybe to give us, a different perspective. Maybe, just maybe. I hope that someone will convince me that no, squatter. This is not how it is. Actually, this is how it unfolded. And yes, she has to account whatever. Maybe someone from a legal point of view might explain this better, because I'm not a jurist person. I'm just a layman. So maybe I might be having a wrong perception. I don't know. But politics and law, I strongly feel that should not mix. Thank you, squatters.